Celeste Morgan adjusted her thick-rimmed glasses for the 100th time that morning as she hurried through the marble lobby of Castellano Industries. Her oversized gray cardigan hung loosely over her small frame, and her dark hair was pulled back in the same tight bun she wore every single day. At 26, she had perfected the art of being invisible. The elevator climbed to the 52nd floor, carrying her to the executive suite where she had worked as personal assistant to Roman Castellano for 3 long years. 3 years of being treated like a piece of office furniture. 3 years of watching the most powerful man in New York barely acknowledge her existence beyond work tasks. The cold. CEO Roman Castellano stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his corner office, his broad shoulders filling out his custom Italian suit perfectly. At 32, he commanded respect and fear in equal measure. His steel-gray eyes missed nothing in the business world, yet somehow never truly saw the woman who managed every detail of his complicated life. Celeste knocked softly on his door. Before entering with his morning coffee, "Your schedule for today?" "Mr. Castellano," she said quietly, placing the perfectly prepared espresso on his desk, alongside a detailed itinerary. Roman glanced up briefly, his eyes sliding over her without really seeing. "Cancel the 3 o'clock with Peterson. Move the board meeting to tomorrow." His voice was crisp, professional, dismissive. "Already done, sir. I anticipated you might want more time to review the Morrison acquisition files." Celeste had learned to think several steps ahead of her demanding boss. For a moment, Roman paused. Her efficiency never ceased to amaze him, though he rarely acknowledged it. "Fine. Anything else requiring my immediate attention?" The unexpected invitation, Celeste hesitated, clutching her leather portfolio tighter. "The Children's Hospital Charity Gala tomorrow night. Your regular companion, Ms. Winters, canceled this morning due to a family emergency. Would you like me to arrange for another escort?" Roman's jaw tightened. The annual gala was crucial for maintaining his company's philanthropic image, and arriving alone would spark unnecessary gossip in the social circles he navigated for business purposes. "No need," he said after a long pause, making a decision that would change everything. "You'll accompany me." Celeste nearly dropped her portfolio. "I'm sorry, sir. I don't think I heard correctly." "You heard perfectly. You know all my business associates, understand the deals we're working on, and can handle any conversation that might arise." "It makes perfect sense." Roman's tone suggested the matter was settled, though he hadn't actually looked at her properly. "Sir, I don't have anything appropriate to wear to such an elegant event. The charity gala attracts society's elite, and I'm just take the corporate credit card. Buy whatever you need. Consider it a work expense." Roman finally turned to face her, though his gaze remained impersonal. "I need someone competent by my side, not another shallow socialite who only cares about being photographed." The shopping expedition that afternoon, Celeste found herself standing nervously outside Bergdorf Goodman, the corporate card burning in her purse. She had never spent more than $50 on a single piece of clothing in her entire life. "May I help you?" A perfectly groomed sales associate named Miranda approached with professional courtesy that barely masked her surprise at Celeste's appearance. "I need something for the Children's Hospital Charity Gala tomorrow night," Celeste said, her voice barely above a whisper. Miranda's demeanor changed instantly. The Charity Gala was one of New York's most exclusive events. "Of course. Let's find you something absolutely perfect." What followed was a complete transformation that took hours. Miranda selected a stunning midnight blue gown that hugged curves Celeste had spent years hiding. The silk fabric shimmed with subtle elegance, sophisticated yet breathtaking. "Now for the finishing touches," Miranda declared.
"Ow."
Leading Celeste to the accessories department, the hidden beauty emerges the next morning. Celeste called in sick for the first time in 3 years. She spent the entire day at a luxury salon that Miranda had recommended, where a team of stylists worked their magic. Her long, dark hair was freed from its perpetual bun and styled in soft waves that cascaded over her shoulders. Thick glasses were replaced with contact lenses that revealed stunning emerald eyes. Professional makeup enhanced her natural beauty without overdoing it. When Celeste looked in the mirror that evening, she barely recognized herself. The woman staring back was confident, beautiful, radiant. For the first time in years, she felt like herself. Instead of hiding behind a carefully constructed mask of invisibility, the Gala man stood in the lobby of the Plaza Hotel, checking his watch impatiently. His assistant was late, which was unlike her. Several business associates had already approached him, and he needed someone who could navigate these conversations intelligently. "Excuse me, are you Roman Castellano?" He turned toward the voice and froze completely. Standing before him was the most breathtaking woman he had ever seen. Her midnight blue gown accentuated every curve of her perfect figure. The light as it moved, and her emerald eyes sparkled with intelligence and hidden depths. "I'm sorry, do we know each other?" Roman managed to say, though something about her seemed familiar. "It's me, Mr. Castellano. Celeste, your assistant." Her voice was the same, but everything else about her was transformed. Roman's mind reeled. This goddess was his mousy secretary. The woman he had barely noticed for 3 years was standing before him, looking like she had stepped off the cover of a fashion magazine. "Celeste," he said her name like he was testing how it sounded, as if hearing it for the first time. "You look different." She smiled, and Roman felt something shift inside his chest. "I hope that's not a problem, sir." The evening unfolds as they entered the ballroom together. Roman noticed every head turn. Men stared at Celeste with obvious admiration, while their wives whispered behind silk fans. For the first time in his life, Roman felt possessive about a woman. "Mr. Castellano, wonderful to see you." Senator Harrison approached with his wife. "And who is this lovely lady?" "Senator Harrison, I'd like you to meet Celeste Morgan, my companion for the evening." Roman's hand found the small of Celeste's back, sending electricity through both of them. Celeste smiled graciously and immediately engaged the senator's wife in conversation about the hospital's new pediatric wing, demonstrating the intelligence and grace that Roman was just beginning to appreciate. Throughout the evening, Roman found himself captivated. This wasn't just a physical transformation. Celeste moved with quiet confidence, spoke with wit and knowledge, and commanded attention without even trying. She was everything he had never realized he wanted in a woman. The dance when the orchestra began playing, Roman surprised himself by asking, "Would you care to dance?" Celeste hesitated for a moment before accepting his offered hand. As they moved onto the dance floor, Roman pulled her close, breathing in her subtle perfume. "You're full of surprises tonight," he murmured against her ear. "I'm the same person I've always been, Mr. Castellano. Perhaps you're just seeing me for the first time." Her words hit him like a revelation. How had he been so blind? This incredible woman had been right beside him for 3 years, and he had never truly seen her. The revelation continues. As they swayed to the music, Roman found himself studying every detail of Celeste's face. Her eyes held depths he had never noticed, intelligence and kindness that had always been there, but hidden behind those thick glasses and conservative clothes. "Tell me about yourself, Celeste. The real you, not the assistant who brings me coffee every morning." For the first time, Celeste laughed freely, and the sound was like music to Roman's ears. "There's more to discover than you might imagine, Mr. Castellano." The evening was just beginning, and Roman Castellano was about to learn that his perfect assistant had been hiding more than just her stunning beauty. She was about to become the most important person in his carefully controlled world. Though neither of them realized how dramatically their lives were about to change. As the night progressed, Roman found himself falling for a woman who had been right in front of him all along, setting the stage for a love story that would challenge everything he thought he knew about himself and what he truly wanted from life. The transformation was complete, but this was only the beginning of their extraordinary journey together. The following Monday morning arrived with an unusual tension in the air at Castellano Industries. Celeste sat at her desk, having returned to her familiar uniform of oversized cardigan and thick glasses. But something fundamental had shifted. She could feel Roman's eyes on her throughout the morning. Studying her as if seeing her for the first time, Roman emerged from his office multiple times, finding excuses to approach her desk. Each interaction felt charged with an electricity that hadn't existed before the gala. When he handed her documents, their fingers would brush, sending sparks through both of them. "Celeste," he said during one of these encounters, his voice softer than usual, "about Saturday night, ... It was a lovely event, Mr. Castellano. The hospital raised substantial funds," she replied professionally, though her cheeks flushed pink. Roman leaned closer to her desk, lowering his voice. "That's not what I meant, and you know it. The business." Rival before Celeste could respond, the elevator doors opened to reveal Vincent Moreau. Roman's biggest business rival and former college roommate, Vincent was everything Roman was not: charming, smooth-talking, and dangerous in his own sophisticated way. His reputation for hostile takeovers was matched only by his reputation with women. "Roman, my old friend," Vincent said with a smile that didn't reach his calculating blue eyes. "I heard you made quite an impression at the charity gala. Word is you had a mysterious companion who stole the show." Roman's jaw tightened. "Vincent, what brings you to my office uninvited? Business, of course. I have a proposition that might interest you." Vincent's gaze swept over Celeste, lingering longer than appropriate. "And who might this lovely assistant be?" "Celeste Morgan," Roman said curtly. "My personal assistant." Vincent's eyes widened with recognition, and something else: opportunity. "Ah, the same assistant who accompanied you to the gala. I must say, the photographs in this morning's society pages don't do you justice, Miss Morgan." Celeste's stomach dropped. She had forgotten about the photographers at such events. Her picture was now circulating in New York's social circles. The photographs after Vincent left with promises to be in touch soon, Roman pulled up the society pages on his computer. There they were, multiple photos of him and Celeste dancing, laughing, looking every inch the perfect couple. The headlines read, "Mystery Woman Captures Billionaire's Heart," and "Who is Roman Castellano's Stunning New Love?" "This changes everything," Roman said quietly, showing Celeste the screen. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Castellano. I never thought about the media attention. This could affect your business relationships, your reputation." Celeste's voice trembled with worry. Roman studied her face, the genuine concern, the selfless worry about his welfare rather than her own suddenly exposed position. "Celeste, look at me." She raised her emerald eyes to meet his steel-gray ones. "I'm not sorry this happened. The only thing I regret is that it took me 3 years to truly see you." The office romance blooms over the following weeks. Their relationship evolved beyond professional boundaries. Roman began staying late just to spend time with Celeste after the office emptied. He discovered she spoke 4 languages fluently, had graduated summa cum laude from Columbia, and had turned down prestigious positions at other companies to work for him. "I need to ask you something that's been bothering me," Roman said one evening, as they shared Chinese takeout in his office. "With your qualifications, you could work anywhere, be anyone's executive assistant, or even have your own career. Tell me honestly, do you stay here because of the job or because of me?" Celeste set down her chopsticks, considering her answer carefully. At first, it was the job. But somewhere along the way, it became about you. I watched you build this empire, saw how you treat your employees fairly, how you donate anonymously to charities. I fell in love with the man you are when you think no one is watching. And now, Roman asked, moving closer to her on the leather sofa. "Now I'm terrified," she whispered, "because loving someone means you can lose them." Roman cupped her face. Gently in his hands, "You won't lose me, Celeste. I promise you that." Their first real kiss was tender, passionate, and full of 3 years of suppressed longing. When they finally broke apart, both knew there was no going back. Vincent's dangerous game unknown to Roman and Celeste. Vincent Moreau had been conducting his own investigation. He discovered that Celeste's transformation wasn't just about clothes and makeup. She had been hiding her true self for reasons connected to her past. Vincent arranged to accidentally encounter Celeste at her favorite coffee shop near the office. His charm offensive was calculated and precise. "Miss Morgan, what?" "A pleasant surprise," he said, sliding into the seat across from her. "I hope you don't mind the company." Celeste looked up from her book, immediately wary. "Mr. Moreau, this is unexpected. Please, call me Vincent. Wanted to apologize for any discomfort I may have caused during my visit to Roman's office. I also wanted to warn you about something. Warn me about what? Vincent leaned forward conspiratorially. Roman has a pattern with women. He becomes intensely focused on them, makes them feel special, then moves on when the novelty wears off. I'd hate to see you become another casualty of his attention span. Think you're mistaken about Roman, Celeste replied firmly. Am I? Tell me. Has he introduced you to his family yet? His social circle? Or are you still his secret, hidden away like a guilty pleasure? His words hit their mark. Roman hadn't introduced her to anyone from his personal life, and their relationship remained confined to the office and stolen moments. The seeds of doubt, Vincent's words planted seeds of doubt that grew over the following days. Celeste began noticing things she had overlooked before. How Roman still introduced her as his assistant at business meetings. How he avoided public displays of affection. How their relationship seemed compartmentalized from the rest of his life. When Roman's mother called to invite him to a family dinner, Celeste overheard him making excuses about being too busy with work. He didn't mention her or suggest bringing her along that evening. As they worked late together, Celeste's usual warmth seemed forced. Something's bothering you? Roman observed. Talk to me. What? It's nothing important, Celeste replied, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. Celeste, I can tell when you're lying. After 3 years of working together, and these past weeks of being whatever we are to each other, I know your tells. She looked up at him then, vulnerability shining in her emerald eyes. What are we? Roman? Really? Because from where I sit, I'm still just your assistant who you happen to kiss after hours. Roman felt something cold settle in his stomach. That's not true, isn't it? You haven't told anyone about us? I'm still a secret you keep locked away in this office. When we're out in public, I'm your assistant. When we're alone, I'm numb. What exactly? The confrontation, the tension between them reached a breaking point when Roman received an invitation to his college friend's wedding, a high-profile social event that would be covered extensively by the media. I'll need you to clear my schedule for the Davidson wedding next Saturday, Roman told Celeste the next morning, back to his professional tone, of course, Mr. Castellano. Should I arrange for your usual companion service to find you a suitable date? Roman looked up sharply at her formal tone. What's that supposed to mean? It means exactly what I said. You'll need someone appropriate for such a public event, and we both know that's not me. Celeste, you're being ridiculous. Am I? Then. Take me. Introduce me as your girlfriend, not your assistant. Show the world that I matter to you as more than someone who manages your calendar. Roman hesitated, and in that moment of pause, Celeste saw everything she needed to know. That's what I thought, she said quietly, turning back to her computer. It's complicated, Celeste. My family, the business relationships, the media attention, it's only complicated if you're ashamed of me. I am not ashamed of you, Roman said fiercely. You're the most incredible woman I've ever known. Then prove it. The challenge hung between them as Roman struggled with his ingrained need for control and privacy against his growing feelings for the woman who had become essential to his happiness. That afternoon, Vincent called Celeste directly. I heard about the Davidson wedding, he said, without preamble. Roman's going alone, isn't he? Celeste didn't answer, but her silence spoke volumes. I have a proposition for you, Miss Morgan. Come work for me. I'll pay you double what Roman does, give you the recognition you deserve. Treat you like the accomplished professional you are, instead of keeping you hidden like a shameful secret. I'm not interested, Mr. Morrow. Think about it, Celeste. You deserve better than being someone's hidden treasure. You deserve to shine. As Celeste hung up the phone, Dario realized that her carefully constructed world was about to explode. And she had no idea if Roman's feelings for her were strong enough to survive the chaos that was coming. The stage was set for a confrontation that would either destroy their love or forge it into something unbreakable. Friday evening arrived with a heavy atmosphere in the executive suite. Roman had been distant all day, making preparations for the Davidson wedding while carefully avoiding any mention of his plans to Celeste. She worked with professional efficiency, but the warmth that had developed between them had frozen into polite formality as Roman prepared to leave for the day. Celeste made her decision. Mr. Castellano, I need to speak with you. Roman paused at her use of his formal title. They had moved beyond such formalities weeks ago, of course. What is it? Celeste stood up, removing her thick glasses and setting them on her desk with deliberate ceremony. For a moment, she looked exactly like the goddess who had taken his breath away at the charity gala. I'm resigning, effective immediately. Roman felt the world shift beneath his feet. What, Celeste? You can't be serious? I've never been more serious about anything in my life. She pulled a formal resignation letter from her desk drawer. I've accepted a position with Moreau Industries. Vincent has offered me an executive position with full recognition and twice my current salary. Vincent? That bastard is behind this? Roman's voice turned dangerous. Celeste, you don't understand what you're doing. Vincent doesn't care about. This is just another way for him to get to me. Maybe so, she replied calmly. But at least he's not ashamed to be seen with me in public. The truth about the past. Roman stared at her in shock, finally understanding the depth of pain his hesitation had caused. Celeste, please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain, Roman. You've made your position perfectly clear. I'm good. Enough to share your bed, but not your life. I deserve better than that. You're right, Roman said quietly. You do deserve better. You deserve better than me entirely, but I'm too selfish to let you go. Something in his tone made Celeste pause. The arrogant billionaire facade had completely dropped, leaving only raw vulnerability. Do you want to know the real reason I hide our relationship? Roman continued. It's not because I'm ashamed of you. It's because I'm terrified of losing you. That makes no sense. Roman ran his hands through his dark hair, a gesture of frustration. In pain? My parents had the perfect marriage, Celeste. 25 years of happiness, love, partnership. They were each other's everything. And then my mother died in a car accident, and I watched my father completely fall apart. He never recovered. He died 5 years later, and everyone said it was from a broken heart. Celeste felt her anger beginning to crack as she saw the pain in Roman's eyes. I built my entire life around control, around never being that vulnerable. I told myself that if I kept you compartmentalized, if I didn't let you become my everything, then I could protect both of us from that kind of devastating loss. Roman, but I was lying to myself. You already are my everything. You have been for months, maybe years, without me realizing it. And the thought of taking you to public events, of making our relationship official, terrifies me because it means admitting that I've fallen completely, irrevocably in love with you. The revelation Celeste felt tears welling in her eyes as Roman's walls finally came down completely. I love you too, she whispered. But love isn't supposed to be something you hide from. It's supposed to be something you fight for. Me fight for you, Roman said, closing the distance between them. Let me prove that I'm worthy of your love. How? Roman pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Mother, it's Roman. About dinner tomorrow night, I'd like to bring someone very special to meet you. Her name is Celeste, and she's the woman I'm going to marry if she'll have me. Celeste gasped as Roman looked directly into her eyes while speaking to his mother. Yes, Mother, I said, Mary. I'll explain everything tomorrow night. We'll see you. At 7. Vincent's final move as Roman hung up the phone. Vincent Moreau appeared in the doorway. Having overheard the conversation from the outer office where he had been waiting, How touching, Vincent said with mock applause. But I'm afraid Miss Morgan has already signed a contract with my company. Legally binding, I assure you. Roman's eyes turned deadly. Get out of my office, Vincent. Actually, this is about to become my office. You see, while you've been playing house with your secretary, I've been busy acquiring enough shares of Castellano Industries to call for a vote of no confidence. The board meets Monday morning, and thanks to some damaging information about your inappropriate relationship with an employee, I expect they'll be voting to replace you as CEO. Celeste felt the blood drain from her face. This was exactly what she had feared, that their relationship would destroy Roman's career. You son of a bitch, Roman growled, stepping toward Vincent. And now, violence won't solve this. Besides, Miss Morgan is contractually obligated to start work for me Monday morning. Aren't you, darling? The choiceless looked between the two. Men Roman, who had finally opened his heart to her, and Vincent, who represented security but also manipulation. She thought about the scared woman who had hidden behind glasses and oversized clothes for 3 years, and the confident woman she had discovered herself to be. "You're right, Vincent," she said quietly. "I did sign your contract." Roman's face fell, but Celeste wasn't finished. "However, I never actually submitted it to HR, which means it's not legally binding." She pulled the contract from her purse and tore it in half. "I quit before I was ever technically hired." Vincent's confident smile faltered. "Furthermore," Celeste continued, her voice growing stronger, "I recorded our entire conversation yesterday when you tried to manipulate me into believing Roman was ashamed of me. Industrial espionage, attempted corporate sabotage, and harassment of an employee are serious charges, don't you think?" She pulled out her phone, displaying the recording app that had been running. "You little bitch," Vincent snarled, all pretense of charm disappearing. "Watch your mouth," Roman warned, moving protectively in front of Celeste. "The victory, and Vincent?" Celeste added sweetly. "You might want to check your stock portfolio. While you were buying up Castellano Industries shares, I've been documenting your illegal trading practices for months. The SEC should be very interested in the evidence I've compiled." Vincent's face went white as he realized he had been outmaneuvered completely. "This isn't over," he threatened, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. "Yes, it is," Roman said firmly. "Security will escort you out. And Vincent? Don't ever come near Celeste or my company again." After Vincent was removed from the building, Roman and Celeste stood alone in the office where their love story had begun. "Did you really compile evidence against him?" Roman asked, impressed. Celeste smiled mischievously. "I've been your assistant for 3 years. I know how to pay attention." 2 details. Vincent made the mistake of underestimating the mousy secretary. Roman laughed, pulling her into his arms. "Remind me never to underestimate you again." The happy ending 6 months later, Roman and Celeste stood in the same ballroom where their romance had truly begun. But this time, instead of the charity gala, they were celebrating their engagement party, surrounded by family, friends, and colleagues who had watched their love story unfold. Celeste wore a stunning emerald gown that complemented her eyes, her hair styled in elegant waves. She no longer hid behind glasses or oversized clothes. She had learned to embrace her beauty, both inside and out. "Any regrets?" Roman asked as they danced to the same song they had shared at the charity gala. "Only one," Celeste replied, smiling up at the man who had become her everything. "Which is that it took us 3 years to find each other when we were right there." All along, Roman spun her around, laughing with pure joy. "Then we'll just have to make up for lost time." As fireworks exploded over the Manhattan skyline, visible through the ballroom's floor-to-ceiling windows, Roman Castellano kissed his future wife and knew that sometimes the most precious treasures are hidden in plain sight. Waiting for the right moment to reveal their true beauty, Vincent Moreau, meanwhile, was facing federal charges for securities fraud and had lost everything in his attempt to destroy Roman's happiness. Justice had been served, and love had conquered all. The wedding 1 year later, in a ceremony covered by every major society magazine, Roman Castellano married his former assistant in a lavish celebration that became the wedding of the decade. Celeste walked down the aisle in a custom Vera Wang gown, radiant with happiness and confidence as they exchanged vows. Roman promised to never hide his love for her again, and Celeste promised to never hide her true self from the world. Had both learned that love requires courage, honesty, and the willingness to be vulnerable with another person. Their story became legendary in New York's business circles. The billionaire CEO who fell in love with his assistant, and the brilliant woman who taught him that the most valuable acquisitions can't be bought. It's only earned through love, respect, and devotion. And they lived happily ever after, proving that sometimes fairy tales do come true, even in the concrete jungle of Manhattan. The end.